Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be talking through what change of character is and how it differs from break of structure, and how I used the strategy to take two trades here on Euro USD at the end of last week, giving me 17% in this trade and 8.5% on this trade, all on the 1 minute time frame, so it didn't take long, if we just get this up. I mean, from when you would start analysing till the last take profit, it was almost 9 hours, so not too bad for 25%. Okay, so just before we get into the video, I shared this post on this concept on my Instagram, so if you want to go check that out, it'll be in the link below. And also, I've got a Discord group where I post setups and signals. So there's currently a setup I'm looking at on USD CHF, where I'm waiting for a change of character before getting into the trade, but when I do get into it, I'll send my entry there. So if you want to be a part of that, then the link will be in the description as well. But back to this. So as you can see, BOS stands for break of structure and COCH stands for change of character. So I'll just talk you through the difference. So at the moment, we're in an uptrend, creating higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low. And a break of structure is continuation, so shows if you're on a bullish trend, then it shows that the bulls are still in control as they're able to break past the last high. So we call that a break of structure. It's going in the direction of the trend. Then up here, for example, you could have, a higher time frame supply zone that gets tapped into, which causes the change of character and like shift in market structure. But I'll just get rid of that. That's the ideal place you want to be looking for this, at a higher time frame POI. But it does work just anywhere, but obviously less probability of it winning. But change of character here is when you go from making higher highs and higher lows, lower low, lower high, and then continuation downwards. So it shows weakness in the bulls' power and strength in the the bears, because this new low is lower than this low, and we call that change of character. It's effectively a break of structure, just in the opposite direction to the previous trend. And what it does is it leaves behind a supply or demand zone, depending on whether it's bullish change of character or bearish change of character. In this case, it's bearish, so you leave behind a supply zone, which then ideally will get tapped into before continuing downwards. And that's kind of the concept that we're going to be using and what I'll be teaching you in the live markets. So it does work on any time frame, but for these examples that I took, I'm just going to be showing you on the 1 minute. So I'll just get rid of all the analysis here and start fresh for you. Obviously, when trading on the 1 minute, the high time frame isn't as important because you're just scalping small moves, But for argument's sake, I'll just go to, say, the 15 minute and just have a look. So we've been coming down, but now I'd say we're in a uptrend for the short term at least. So that's something to just keep in mind. If we go back to the 1 minute, I'll show you what I saw on Friday morning. So I came in at 6 AM, had a look at what's going on. I've been trending down a bit in the Asian session, and if you've seen my video on Asian manipulation, then you know that the Asian highs and lows, there's liquidity resting above and below. It's likely to get taken out, so that will be our targets for this strategy. If you haven't seen that video, then let's just watch that before this maybe, or watch this first and then watch that, and if you need to come back to this, then you can after. But I'll be explaining it in this video as well a bit. So you can just look at structure here from 6 AM. We're creating higher highs and higher lows, trending upwards. I'll just mark up some breaking structures. So I've got one, not much strength there, but it did take a while, but it did break through. We'll label that breaking structure. Got another one here. I'll make a video on breaking structure as well, but for me, it has to have the candle close above the previous wicks high. So I wouldn't call, I wouldn't call that breaking structure on this candle, and I wouldn't call this candle breaking structure, even though the wick goes above it. But I'll wait for a body to close above it. As long as you're consistent on how you mark them up, then it shouldn't make too much of a difference. You can see we're making higher highs, higher lows. For now, again, breaking structure there. And here you see some wick projections. I mean, if you want to trade that, you can, just extra confluence. But then here you get this low that gets taken out. and so we'd call that, as you could have seen from the setup of just the line drawings, I'd call this a change of character, shifting from bullish to bearish, get a strong bearish candle here, leaving some imbalance, and a nice little supply zone left behind. So that was what I got in on. It did all happen quite quickly, so you have to be watching the charts if you're going on the 1 minute, but it does work on all different time frames, so you can use it on just the hourly if you want, or 15-minute to get slower entries if you don't have as much time to just sit at the charts. Or you can just join my Discord and I'll be sharing with you my trades. But that was it, and I targeted the Asian low. You could have got in, could have targeted somewhere lower, maybe the lows over here. But for me, in this strategy, I just target Asian low or Asian high. And so that was a nice 8.5% there in not much time at all. 12 minutes. That's very good. Pass your FTMO challenge in 12 minutes. And for the next setup, you see down here we're creating breaker structure to the downside. The trend's now bearish. Get another breaker structure here. And this low doesn't get broken. And now we've got this lower high that's created, which gets broken over here. Change of character, I'm not too strict on having to be a body break above, just anything the wick above is good enough for me for change of character. That's bullish change of character, and then this demand zone, it's left behind on this doji candle, which is basically just an indecision candle, which can show a change in market structure, not always. Obviously, there's a few of them here, it doesn't show we're going bearish, but it's nice added confluence. So get in at the high of this candle. And this was a nicer trade, going with the high time frame, so that's probably why. Nice 17% in, see how long this one took. There was a bit of consolidation, but then New York session opened and price shot up in our direction. This trade took a bit longer, almost 6 hours, but 17%, you can afford to wait that long. Like, think about how much you'd be making, say £10 an hour in your job, 60 quid, or 17% on a 100k account, that's 17 grand, big difference there. But that's basically it. I'll check, there was actually, see if there's any other setups that we could look at just for more examples. Maybe here, get change of character, go up, and then you break here, look for a return to this area. Didn't actually tap into this 1 minute supply zone, which I would have been looking for, but on a different time frame, on the 2 minute. It did get respected, but that's not a trade I'd get into. Same here, you can break your structure down, change character here. You look to get in at a supply zone. Demand zone, nothing that really speaks out to me. Looks like it bounced off here, but it wasn't strong enough. But, if you do just mark the last bearish candle, it does get respected quite nicely. Nice demand zone, and then shot up, back up to this supply zone, before coming back down a bit. Yep. But you need to back test it and test it out in the live market, see how you're able to implement the strategy. And if you've got any questions, just leave a comment or message me on Instagram or on Discord. That'd probably be easier. I've got a community there now, so if you've got any questions, just ask, and I'll give you some feedback on your charts if you want to send anything through. But that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching.